Hello everyone, welcome to Loving Life conversation series, People Who Change the World. Today we have Mazen, who's the founder and Chief Growth Officer of Zeed. Welcome, Mazen.
Thank you very much.
So it's so lovely to be here in Riyadh to shoot this video, and you have recently closed Series B funding with $50 million. Congratulations.
Thank you.
I want to take things back at the very beginning. You founded Zeed in 2017 in January. What was the idea? Why Zeed? And what's the mission and vision for Zeed?
So Zed in Arabic means grow.
Grow.
Grow. It's two words. It's similar to the Z also letter in English, which is the last thing. So what I would like to, the reason why we started all of this was to enable sellers at home at the beginning to be able to sell easily. People at that time used to sell on social networks like Instagram and WhatsApp. It was good. However, it's not scalable. So, and here comes the name Zed. They were able to do 5 orders, 10 orders a day max, because their time was spent talking to a lot of logistics company, talking to people on direct messages, etc. So the idea of Zed came to automate all the communication between the customers and the shipping companies, etc. We first started with the home-based businesses because we believe they need something easy, and it was mobile only.
Mobile
I
only.
didn't want them to open a desktop or to have a laptop, or not everyone has a laptop. So the idea was, if you can sell on Instagram, we will not change the experience for you. We'll just give you an app called Zed to help you to grow. And it started that way. And apparently a year later, we started to see a trend that changed, I would say, the course of the company. For a consistent week, we started to see a lot of big merchants are using Zed, which we did not design the product for. We did not design it for brick and mortar retailers. And we picked the phone. And that's a lesson learned for me. You have to talk to the customer. Don't just put a product to that. So I called them, why you are using us? We did not build this for you. I mean, you have options like A, B, C. It's very well-known e-commerce.
Right.
And they are international. Go and use Shopify, for example. We did not build this for you. And they give us really interesting reasons. It's localized and Arabic. It's simple. We don't want much features. We want something that just right. And we can talk to you guys. There is a chat where if we have a problem, we can reach out to you. And that's the reason we have it. If you have a desktop version, it will help us to upload our products, etc. And that's actually opened a new segment for us and started to open a new market for us. And then we grew from there.
Wow, so this is how you found product market fit. People come to you.
Without you knowing. And that's something that actually we started to believe in our other products. So we started with Zed, and then now we have Zed Ship, Zed Pay, Zed App Market, and now Zed POS. In every product, yes, you can design and think and do your market research, however, and you design a product. But once you put it in the market, you cannot control who uses it. All what you have to do is to just keep an eye, hands off, nose in, and listen and see how people will use your product.
Right.
They will surprise you. And that's actually what happened in our case. We found different use cases. I never thought when we started Zed that people will go and sell stuff like camels and
camels.
People are selling animals and camels through Zed. People are selling all kinds of products that we never thought or imagined that it will be sold online. You just build it, roll it out to the market, let people show you their, I would not say magic, but show you the interesting cases that they will be using your product. And that's the beauty of SaaS in general.
Very interesting. I saw on Instagram you posted feedback is for breakfast and for lunch and for dinner. So you really listen to what the customers' feedback.
We have consistent, I would say today, what differentiates a tech company from a real company is how close they are from their community and merchants or customers. And this is, since day one, we really embed this in our culture. We are a community-driven, I would say, company. We build the community, not just to get people along and get them to listen from them, also to facilitate their communication among each other. They will help each other. they will share knowledge, especially in e-commerce and retail. And uh, uh, this is how usually you get a bigger multiples on your learning instead of you learning by your own. If you share the knowledge and if you exchange knowledge, you will learn more and do more. The other thing in our case in the retail sector, retail is all about collaboration, group buying, group negotiation,
Yes.
and this is happening today by having them in a community, either physical communities or on WhatsApp and Telegram communities.
You mean here in Saudi?
Yeah, in Saudi, and hopefully whenever we go to another country, we'll adopt the same approach.
Right. It's very close and dear to my heart because I used to work at Shopee. It's now become the largest e-commerce in Southeast Asia. I remember we started also in C2C and then we expanded to B2B2C. What has been the biggest challenge for you to, in this journey, and how you overcome the hardest moments if you think back?
The beauty of this, before Zed, I used to work in a lot of things. And I have ADHD in terms of changing businesses. So, but why I'm stuck here, and I love it here. Every day I come to the office, I measure my, I would say, happiness by the number of challenges we have, the number of problems that we need to solve. Again, that's the beauty of SaaS. You offer the product and you don't know exactly who will use it. You try your best to do segmentation, market research, targeting, but again, if it's up there and anyone can go and create their account, you never know who. So your mission is to go and look at the data and see it. So I would say every day has a new challenge. Every stage has its own challenges. But in the sector, in the retail in general, I would say the retail sector in this country and this region, it's very promising, yet there are no enough brands, homegrown brands, that has been created yet. So the opportunity is huge, but I believe we really need more entrepreneurs, not to build tech products, which is us, but more entrepreneurs to come up with great products to be sold here and outside Saudi. Because we used to just import all of our products. But now the trend has changed. We are seeing great either full manufacturing here in Saudi or collaboration between designing here, producing in China or Portugal or Turkey or etc. But this kind of the challenge would be is how can we really encourage more business owners to come up with great products.
I love what you said because it's about creating the future. It's not just about analyze that this is the market, we have to segment it, and then the market, the sky is the limit. And now with the Vision 2030, I really see the booming of the entrepreneur ecosystem. And you mentioned about domestic brands selling not just in Saudi and GCC but around the world. What do you think, in whether it's from a policy standpoint, from a culture standpoint, from a community ecosystem, will we foster that creation of original brands? What do you think are needed?
People first need to realize that they can do great products, and this is happening in different sectors here. So we have really great brand name here in Saudi, brand names who can create sectors. Like I'll give you one example: in perfume sector and cosmetics. We usually used to import a lot of stuff, but today a lot of really great homemade, homegrown brands and entrepreneurs started really great perfume brands with a local and Arabian scent, and they are creating a really great market, and it's manufactured here. Yes, they might bring the oil from different places in the world to do the mix, but most of the manufacturing and the supply chain happens here in Saudi. And for example, the perfume sector is now flourishing. A lot of names, brands, competition, healthy competition to raise the bar of the quality. You can go in every single sector in retail and you see so. I would say having the supply chain is important. Having the knowledge is very important. So one thing that foster, for example, the perfume sector, a lot of thought leadership, a lot of knowledge, a lot of YouTube videos, a lot of content has been written.
Yes.
People started to do it. I even still remember 4 or 5 years ago, you have training sessions to go and to know how to design your own perfume. That actually resulted later on on people started to design their own perfume. Would love to see more on the fashion. Like, for example, 2 months ago, Zid was a participant in, or a strategic partner for the Fashion Future event. We have now a full government entity looking after fashion, Saudi fashion and Saudi brands in fashion. So we are seeing government support. One also flagship support is the Made in Saudi brand, which is something also to encourage people to create and export even products from Saudi. So I believe today is the right timing in terms of government support, policies, incentives. Knowledge is there, that wasn't there before.
Right.
Supply chain is there, wasn't there before. Supply chain local and also international. Hopefully things in China will come back to normal, but also China and other, I would say, arms for production is now not like used to be before. The time turnaround time is not like used to before,
right,
and etc. So timing is good, and the support is there. All what we need is people who hunt the great idea and build the brands, not only products.
Yes. So now is the best timing because you have the supply chain, you have policy, you have knowledge, you have partnership, and there couldn't be a more exciting time to build.
Never. That's the time.
And I love fashion. I was in charge of fashion and shopping. Yes, when you talk about fashion and perfume, get really excited. So you are a serial entrepreneur. You have built many, many different companies along the journey, and now Zid is almost 6 years. What has been, the ups and downs during your entrepreneurial journey? And if you may share with our audience some lessons learned along the way being a serial entrepreneur.
Oh, lots of lessons, but I would say one great lesson I'm now learning. I just had a vacation, so I reflected back. So it's good timing. And one of the lessons I learned, you have to take vacations.
Yes.
I've been forced to take this vacation by the team because one thing you get to do when you are so excited about your job, it's not a job, it become your life,
yes,
which is very challenging. Why? You start to forget about yourself. Sometimes you forget about your close family. You just get yourself into work and find challenges and solving them, or get yourself stressed. No, yes, it might sound a little bit theory, but you have to force yourself into enjoying your time and having fun, or having a rest at least. Sleeping well is very important. Maintaining your relationship and not forgetting about your close ones, yes, and your close circle is really important. And don't wait until you are in 70s or 60s or until you retire. Do it now. And I'm not saying you have to do it 5 hours a day. Just give time for it on a daily basis or on a regular basis, because it's crucial. This is one thing that I tend to forget about, and I actually, it did not help me in the past when I did not have it in my life. Now I'm trying to fix that, and I see the result. So take vacation, take breaks, even not necessarily a month. Just take a good break. 1 day, 3 days, 1 week, whatever. But you have to have consistent breaks. Otherwise, you will burn.
Yes.
So burnout applies to founders and business owners, similar to the employees. So this is a key thing. And unfortunately, no one would speak about it because they're afraid if they take a vacation, things will collapse. Nothing will happen, inshallah. And that's a good test for your leadership and yourself, that you have to leave things better than it was, better than if you are there. If the business is dependent on you fully, that means you have not created a business for real. You've just created a company or something reliant on you. Which,
right.
So this is one thing. The second is focus.
Focus.
And focus would be very hard for entrepreneurs in their early stages. You have to try many things, yes, because you need to learn a lot of things, and you need to do a lot of things, because at the beginning you cannot do one thing only. You have to do everything. You cannot hire 20, 40 employees. So how to focus on the things that matters. But you have to do many things. So what I found it really interesting, people misjudge focus with doing a lot of things. There is some way in the middle where you focus on one thing and doing one thing in your life, which is, for example, for me, Zid, while you do many roles within Z that supports that vision, so you don't feel bored or not fresh every time and challenged. So that's very important also. Listen, it takes time to get focused. Don't think you will wake up in the morning and say, I want to be focused, and you will be focused.
Right.
You have to work on yourself. You have to remove all the things that will make you unfocused.
Yes.
So it's a process.
Right.
So focus, you'll hear it from everyone. I've heard it a lot. I got that comment from a lot of people, Mazen, you're not focused. And I kept asking myself, how can I get myself focused? And apparently, it's not a decision only. It's a decision that needed to be made, and then you have to work on it in a journey.
Yes.
And you'll always be distracted. However, your main job to yourself and your mandate to yourself is to try to keep yourself focused.
Because you have to try different things to know what are the things to focus on.
That's the balance that you need to have. You don't want to be tunneled.
Right.
So the being focused is a process. It's not a decision. You wake up in the morning and say, you have to work on it, and you have to put really between you and yourself some rules or guiding principle, depends on your situation, that will help you to become more focused on things that you want to focus on.
Right. And I think the two things you mentioned, taking a break, taking vacation, and focus, go hand in hand.
Cool.
Because sometimes if you work where you only see, you can't really see the bigger picture.
Absolutely right.
And you mentioned about focus. So what is the focus for Zid now? And how do you decide on what to do, what not to do?
Our focus today, I used to believe in e-commerce. I'm a big believer. That's my mission in life, to enable people to go online. That was until COVID. COVID did a favor for me, did the best marketing campaign for e-commerce. So I don't need to convince people to go online.
Yes, you get help from the universe.
Although it's very sad, but actually in our case, I don't need, since 2017 until just prior to COVID, most of my time preaching people about e-commerce. E-commerce is good, is great, go online. Now the challenge would be not e-commerce anymore. I don't say I disbelieve in e-commerce. I believe on what I call it modern retail.
Modern retail.
What is modern retail? Simply retailers who use and utilize digital channels, all the channels, offline, online, etc., and use the data to make proper and informed decisions on a daily basis. Not by at the end of the year they see their P&L and no, they are empowered by technology, data, and support to make really great decisions. Plus, they don't limit themselves with one channel, which is e-commerce or brick and mortar. No, they use all the channels possible. They list themselves in marketplaces. They have their own online store. They have their offline chain of stores. I hate it when I see a lot of people say online versus offline. No, it's not. It's modern retail. And that's a new breach that I'm breaching people with. The new, I would say, commerce, or I would not say new, it's modern retail. And this is happening today. It's not something visionary. It's happening today. We have today, among the 8,000 merchants we have a lot of great people who represent the modern retailers. They have their iPads or mobile. They know what decision that they make, and they are growing in a very great way. And I can spend all the day to talk about what is modern retailer, but this is now my biggest focus and the company's focus. How can we really enable the retail sector to move from the traditional retail to modern retail?
So it's moving beyond e-commerce. You no longer have to choose, oh, I'm online or offline. It's about empowering you to make the best business decision you can.
And our role, Visit, is to provide those retailers with this technology, with those products that will enable them to become modern retailer as soon as possible. Not to build everything from scratch. No, we will enable you immediately.
Right. That's why you have Zid payments, ship, whatever you need.
Exactly.
If you need marketing, we can help. Photography, we can help.
Have a lot of partners can support you. So merchants would focus on one thing, which we mentioned earlier. Come up with a great brand and great product, and become focused on your business, not operations or logistics or payments or financing. We will take care of that. we'll partner up. We already partner up with great ecosystem players. Just focus on what matters and the thing that no one would do it other than you, which is coming up with the products and building your brand.
Building your brand. You mentioned about, you're coming back from a vacation and then things become better, so you have a good team. And I was at this Endeavor Saudi event, and the speaker said the most scarce resource for startup is not capital, is talent.
True.
How do you attract talent, retain talent? How do you build a culture that empower everyone to contribute the best of them to Zid?
In startups, there is no HR department. The real challenge in startups at the beginning, the founders are the HR and the talent acquisition. Until today, part of my job and my partner Sultan is to allocate time to find great people. Not great people in LinkedIn and their CVs. This is easy. Any talent acquisition guy will find you good people. But people who can fit your culture in terms of thinking, in terms of values, in terms of believing in you as well. Because, as you know, things in startups is not as clear as, for example, working in a telecom company or very well-structured company. People need to have a belief in what you are doing and the vision in the company and where they are trying to do. Like if you now go to someone and I told them modern retail, you relate to that because you used to be in shopping. But if I go to someone who never heard of modern retail, and he will say, what are you saying?
What do you mean?
What do you mean?
Yes.
You are just bluffing. Huh? That sense has to be very important. So yes, the qualification is important, but attitude and values and fit is really important. I'll give you an example. Until today, even if a candidate will go and interview the manager, etc., there is one last interview has to be done with the CEO and my co-founder, Sultan. It's not a job interview and I have to evaluate. It's something that he wants to make sure that the person who joined has the fit.
Right.
And this is one way to try to maintain the culture from the beginning. And during the employees, the team, we do things differently, not because it's cool and throw some bean bags there and have pizza and enjoy, but also because it's very, very stressful to work in a startup.
Yes.
Compared to a very
established. Yes.
So having a great conditions and flexible environment and understanding environment and non-toxic culture is not a choice for us. It has to happen. Why? Because without that, you'll collapse. You cannot have it. How to do it? Many things. It starts from being flexible. We were remote before remote. We were remote by design, not by COVID. Because a lot of people now I cannot brag about being remote because many companies.
Everybody's remote. Right.
But before that, we were, for example, on Slack. We have people from around 14 different countries working with us. So we were okay to have talents anywhere in the world. The language wasn't a barrier. Borders were not a barrier. Time zones were not a barrier. Human growth is key in building a culture in startups and attracting and keeping talents. So one great thing I'm really grateful for and proud of, a lot of now key positions in Zid is held by not new people joining.
Homegrown.
This is a key. For many reasons. A, finding talents, as everyone says and complain about, is hard to find talents. Very talent war, you heard of talent war, not even in Saudi, it's in even Silicon Valley. So
yes, it's a worldwide.
There is a scarcity in talent, we know that. So your choice is, instead of just paying or doubling the salary and bringing people who are in it for the money and the big salary or big checks, try to really invest in your team. So this is one key thing. So if you want to grow, this is the place where you come. We are growing the merchants. This is Zid again. Zid is about merchants growth. Also our team, Zid, one thing that we want to do is anyone joins Zid, also he personally, he or she, they will grow on their career and professional career growth. And one interesting fact that's happening, we see people start with us until they reach a cap and they said, خلاص, I've spent 3-4 years, I want to go and try something else. We never called them ex-Zidders, we call them Zid alumni. They will go out, and now we are seeing a nice trend. They go spend a year or so outside, and they come back. They come back with a great knowledge, with they appreciate the culture even more because they've seen how it looks like outside. So yeah, that's
So welcome back then with open arms.
Of course. That's why they are alumni. You can come and continue again.
Yes, I love what you said about the Zid alum because I used to work at BCG, and then we say once a BCG, you're a BCG for a lifetime. And I think that's smart strategy because someone else will help you train to help them break through. And then when they come back, they're even stronger with more experience.
Totally.
You mentioned about culture. So you're very intentional in attracting talent and retaining talent. I wonder what are the ways that you're using to make sure different department collaborates. It's a real problem. For example, in the United States, I talked with someone work at a trading firm. The bonus is distributed by groups. So if you have an idea, then you tend to hold on it instead of sharing with others, because your monetary incentive is tied to that. How do you create a culture with collaboration? People feel they want to come here, not just for the money, but to be with the people that they enjoy working with.
That's a big question that we keep asking ourselves, my Sultan and me, my co-founder and myself. And I would say it starts with being transparent with your employees, showing the numbers. We show numbers for employees. We don't hide numbers. We treat them as we are a publicly listed company. Even though we are not publicly listed, we share quarterly reports, numbers with all of the employees. This A will kill the gossip. B, it will give people a sense of progress. If you hide it and just expect anyone to collaborate, that will never happen. So transparency and sharing is a key thing in building that collaboration culture. This is one thing. The second is there are some techniques and some, I would say, tools to help you to foster this even or structure it. Like, for example, we've been using OKRs since 2017, which is objectives and key results.
Yes.
And it's shared. Not every department, they have their own OKR, no. So everyone will share their OKR, so you will know exactly what the other department will be doing in this quarter. This will create more empathy, this will create more understanding. You will know that what they are busy with. If they say no, that doesn't mean that they say no because they don't want you to succeed, but they have also this. Then we go to a level where we have joint OKRs between departments. So by design, they have to collaborate. There is no choice to not collaborate. When the company started to grow, it became more challenging.
Yes.
And when we have different people in different countries, it's even harder. But we use async, for example, tools to convey messages. Like, for example, if we have a year vision, we make sure it's not only happens in a meeting where anyone who attended the meeting will know about it, and whomever did not will not feel it. We record those meetings and keep it. For someone who was on vacation will come back and feel what or experience what happened in that meeting.
Right.
So this is one thing I believe needs to be fostered. Sharing, keeping things in place. One last thing that we are doing, and it's helping a lot, documentation. This is something very underestimated.
Yes.
But it's very crucial. Instead of the relationship and knowledge that became between the team member and the manager or the team only, if you put it out there and share it, newcomers will see it, which is great. I don't need to sit with you 3 meetings to give you all the history. You will see the whole history. Second, it will encourage the culture of knowledge sharing and sharing your stuff with everyone. So it's not one thing, to be honest. It's series of things to help you to do that. but it's never-ending process.
Right. So it's really about authenticity, transparency, communication. And I love what you said about documenting, because the whole creation behind this show is to share knowledge. If you ask how to become a good entrepreneur, watch our show with Mazen from Z. They can watch it. We're towards the end of our interview. I want to ask the second to last question, which is a book, at the end of the BME is called What Do You Know For Sure? It's written by Oprah Winfrey, and she said when someone asked her the question, she stopped, she really had to think. So I want to give you the hard question. What do you know for sure in life, in work, about yourself, about Zed?
No one would reach the ultimate learning. You will learn everything. If you decide to learn every day, you will find something to learn. That's what I keep telling myself. No matter I'm up to date on e-commerce or modern retail, every day there is something new to learn. It's on you, on me, on everyone to see from where they can learn and what to learn. But I can assure you, what I know for sure, that there is something to be learned every day. You have to learn something every day. And that's what that's what I'm sure about. And I love to do every day.
It's about learning every day.
Yeah.
I need to ask a follow-on question, because a lot of the time people are fear of failure. I think you say it as learning, but a lot of people, I fail, I lose faith. How do you train that inner work? You don't see it as a failure, you see it as pivot, you see it as learning, and you don't spend time crying over what didn't happen.
Cry. It's all right to cry. First of all, it's all right to be disappointed. You are a human being. You are not a robot. At the end of the day, yes, you will fail, and if you decide not to accept that fact, you will be stressed and maybe collapsed. I've seen it. A lot of some of my investments as an angel investor, two of many companies I invested in, it actually collapsed, not because the entrepreneurs were not great, because this was their first time to become entrepreneurs, and they were so smart, super genius, ex-Google, but the first time they fail, they could not accept the fact they are a failure. So they became crazy. They got hospitalized. No. The first thing you have to do with failure is to accept it. To tell yourself it's really all right to fail. Actually, one thing, I have an extreme here. If you don't fail, actually, I start to have some doubts about you. That means you are either very risk averse,
yeah.
which I hate, and especially if you are working on startups. You are not working in investment banking.
Right.
So you have to actually try new things, and if you try things, of course you will fail. Let's agree on that. This is the main principle of starting a startup. Otherwise, if you want to have everything on place and clear, go work in different environments. It's all right. There is nothing wrong with that. So if you decide, and this is a message for everyone, if you decide to become or to take that path, innovation, coming up with new stuff, and innovation doesn't mean coming up with a new idea. Even taking an idea that worked in different places in the world and applying it in your culture, it will not be as copy and paste. You cannot do that.
Right.
It's not again, it's not building a company. It's not just
plug and play.
Yeah. I wish, but it's not. So if you have that in your mindset, don't try to trick yourself by pivot, etc. Yes, I like the word pivot, but sometimes it's just a way of saying I failed in a nice way.
Yes.
Just say it. I screwed up. I failed.
Yes.
Let's be okay with saying I made a mistake.
Right.
Or I failed.
Yes.
Or I was wrong about that. Let's add the right vocabulary.
Right.
Let's not sugarcoat things and accept the fact that we are human. And actually, you learn a lot and more by your mistakes than you learn from your successes.
Right.
That's what I'm really proud of. I'm not proud of my success stories, or this is. I'm very short in that compared to a lot of people. But what I'm really proud of, I allowed myself to make mistakes and to be open for it and go for it even. I don't. I'm not afraid to do it. So I believe that's what I know for sure. You have to make mistakes, and if you decide to go for the entrepreneurial part.
The entrepreneur, that's exhilarating to go to the unknown. And I have to ask, because when you mention about not being afraid to make mistakes, I think about education to kids. Because sometimes, kids lie to parents because they think they've made a mistake. Oh, like my parents this is the end of the world. But I think seeing your big presence with your daughter, admit your mistake and then go for it. What's your education philosophy to your kids, if you may share?
They all outsmart you. So don't try as a parent. And this is what I'm still figuring this out, because it's with the new technologies, with the new access to people, minds now happening. It's not only an iPad. It's something beyond that. It's they are seeing different cultures, different people. They have different also source of information. All what you can do is just to have a dialogue with them. Allow them to talk. I never lecture them. I started to try to zip this and just listen, and you will learn from them. Actually, they will not. Don't try to become a teacher or educator. That's what I'm trying now to convince myself. What happened in the past during my father's and mother's time cannot apply today.
Yes,
you cannot. Actually, every time I speak with them or have a conversation with them, I'm the learner. And just give them that privilege to learn from them, and they will be surprised that they are more knowledgeable than you if you just allow them to go on and talk.
Yes. In Chinese, we have a saying, 教学相长. It means learning and teaching are the same thing. You help each other to grow. And I can see it's the same philosophy. You treat your teams and you learn from your team. Final question. How do you measure the success of your life? And how do you measure the success of Zeed? So, final two questions.
I'm motivated, and I'm moved by the impact in general. Yes, I love numbers, of course. We have to keep them and look at them and grow them. But the real thing is impact and change. I'm motivated by that, not by other things. And again, measuring impact is another story. So, for example, in culture, we spoke about culture. I feel proud, and I feel that Zed has an impact on people if they start with, for example, X riyals, let's say 1,000 riyals, and they accelerated their pay or they accelerated their responsibilities to a level in 3 years or 2 years or 1 year, to a level where they got attracted by another company who can pay them 5x, 10x. It sounds very sad that they leave. However, for me, but deep inside, you will really feel proud that you've impacted their lives. Same with merchants. If someone started with you selling 5 orders, 10 orders before knowing Zed or the products, and then after 3 years, they became a big company with 15, 20 employees, and they do hundreds of orders or thousands of orders a day. That's very satisfying for me. That's the purpose, I believe, for living, is to see your impact personally, or the things you've built or the thing you created on people's lives or people bottom line. And that's what keeps me motivated, and I believe that's how I measure my life.
To see your impact on the other people in the world.
Exactly.
Thank you so much, Mazen. So great having you.
And thank you for having me, and I wish you a pleasant stay in Saudi, and please promise me that this will never be your last visit.
Oh, we promise.
Good.
Yes, it's on camera.
Thank you.